Well, but you could have potentially connected them with some of your plugs.
Absolutely.
And walked away.
Absolutely, yeah.
Did you consider it?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, Vlad. Oh.
Because, in the beginning, they were probably saying, like, how many years were they threatening you with early on?
So I was already on about 5. I was looking at about 5.
Okay.
I knew I was going to go down regardless. I was on probation. So when you're on felony probation and you get busted for doing the exact same thing while you're on probation, you're at least going to get a probation violation. So I knew I was at least looking at like 2 just for that, even if I beat the whole fucking thing. Right. So I figured I was looking at about 5, and they throw they overcharge you. This is the way the system works. The prosecutor, the AUSA, right? Like my case, you're in the feds, are being charged federally. Yeah, they throw as much at you to try to get you to scare you so you can plea out and probably fuck yourself, especially if you don't have a lawyer. Thank God I had a good lawyer.
Okay, so now you're in jail.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the county.
Yep. So they spent hours trying to get me to flip, and I probably could have walked. And I'm just like, the smartest thing I ever did, because I'm so overwhelmed. I'm exhausted. The adrenaline's dumping. People who've never been arrested at this kind of level don't understand the fear and the kind of out of body experience this is. Your mind isn't, especially when you've never been in the system. And I was like, okay, I know I can call the fat man, which is what I call my lawyer, this obese guy, Gorski, hero of mine. I was like, you guys got to just take me to jail. Like the jig's up. I'm going to call home and be embarrassed. And yeah. So anyways, so now I'm down in 23-1, the fucking, Multnomah County Justice Center, right? Just like really like in it. I'm fucked in the game, as they say.
All right. So now you're in jail, and this is the first time you're really ever been locked up.
Yeah.
You get into it with a white guy right when you get there.
Cameron was his name. Nice guy. Eventually, we ended up bidding together. We were at the same penitentiary. But yeah, it was just a fade, just the first fade you got to take when you're new in jail. So we go into the bathroom. We're in fucking sandals. That's how new I am. I don't even have the shoes yet off the commissary. And I tied my knuckles up in some fucking tissue paper just so I wouldn't fucking, break my hand. And we just squabbed for like what felt like 5 minutes, but was probably 45 seconds. And, I touched him up. He got the best of me. He was like, I'm 6'6", 200 maybe. And he was 6'3", but jacked, shaved head, career Peckerwood white boy. So he tuned me up, but he didn't put me on my pockets. I was like, just stay on your feet.
Okay, so you're going through the county and you get into a whole bunch of fights.
Whole bunch of fights. Well, I was fighting my case for 8 months.
Yeah.
Whole bunch of fights, bro. And I'm not a tough guy, but it's like you're in there so long, I have to fade if it's presented to me. So,
I mean, is that pretty much the norm? Can you go to county jail and just keep to yourself and not get into any fights?
Sometimes, but I'm in the high security dorms. So a lot of times it's just white gangbanging trying to get me to come along. And I'm not a joiner and I'm not, I'm just not going to be a part of that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not playing racial politics. I have real problems. So I don't know what it was about me, but they had a real, there was people that just had real problems that wanted to probably look tough for their gangs, and they see a guy who looks like easy lunch, right? So I think that's what it was. Like, I don't think it was really totally personal most of the time, but I would get sent to the hole, and I loved it because now I got some jerk time. I can be away from these fucking animals on the dorm. But the problem is, every time you go to the hole, you get a ticket, you get written up. So by the time I actually go to the penitentiary, my points are like, I'm like a high security threat, or I'm a high security inmate now. So
Right.
that's what got sent me to a max when I should have probably been in a fucking camp.
Okay, so after 8 months, what did you plead to? Because you didn't go to court, right?
No, I mean, I went to court a bunch for bail hearings, for,
Yeah.
you know, the whole rigmarole.
But you didn't go to trial. is what
No,
I'm
didn't
saying.
go to trial.
Yeah.
So we forfeited. So the DEA keeps, you know, they leave me in jail for a couple of weeks and they come by, and these are nice guys. You know, I felt bad that I felt bad for kind of being a piece of shit to the cops. They're just doing their job. You know, they were like, look, are you ready? Like, we just come on, dude, this is not a place for you. Just, you know, you can work for us, get out, right? We'll plead to something very, very benign. And, but my lawyer was like, look, dude, if they don't really have a lot of evidence, they don't have a lot of federal evidence that ties you to anything. They have a shitload of cash.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Now, yes, you fucking ran from the cops. You tried to bribe them. You do have a probation violation. You're going to go down. But if you go to work for the feds, there's no out date like prison. You work until they say you can go home. And so, I mean, it was the best piece of advice I ever got, because we negotiated to forfeit all of the cash they had found, plus everything else that I had, mostly, right?
Mostly.
So at the end of the day, they got over $1 million cash that I voluntarily turned over, and the feds not really having anything, and being from a place, mind you, where I'm like a mid-level drug trafficker to them. I'm not even like the big fish. That's how much weed was getting shipped out of Oregon. They have bigger cases. So they turned it over to the state. And so now I'm just grappling with the state, right?
Oh, so the Fed case turned into a state case.
That's right.
I never hear about that. It's usually the other way around.
That's why it's a fucking crazy story. I basically bought my way out of, because the feds want to be sure that, I mean, the feds could have made a case on me, but it's like money laundering. So they couldn't, if they can't tie it to drugs, I don't know. Maybe you'll be able to buy your way out. And what they tell you is they want your money more than your life. So they turned it back over to the state, to the Multnomah County. So I go to state court now. And if you hold out, if you can stay in jail and hold out like the way I did, because they try to keep you in there as long as they can to squeeze you, because you're suffering in there. It's real suffering is the only way I can describe being in county jail for extended periods of time. You're more likely to like accept what they want. And so I hung in there and I pled to, I think, 38 months, and I got the option of doing a drug program, which could get 6 months cut off my sentence plus my good time.
All right, so that's a little over 3 years, so 2.5 years, basically.
Yeah.